we are back. Welcome to another live feature.
Jason's music is before I come home, and now it's like all right. So welcome back to another edition of Live Feed Read. I'm Paul Reed, your host. The
Yes,
Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson, Jason
yes,
Crawford, appearing live in Technicolor from Tallahassee.
that's right. That's right.
All right, let's just jump right into it.
Okay.
We got a call this weekend. I did. And a gentleman, his wife, and two children were sitting at a red light when a stolen motor vehicle crashed into their car
Oh,
during a police chase. And
oh,
they hired the largest law firm in the universe, who recently more or less told them there's nothing we can do for you because this
okay.
was a stolen car vehicle crash. All
Hmm.
right. So they called me and say, "Hey, is there anything you can do for us?" And I said, "Well, you have this attorney, and here's what you need to ask them because." Well, let me back up. In Florida, because I don't know if people know this, and this is significant. Florida operates under a policy that says both the driver of the vehicle that causes a crash and the owner of a vehicle that causes a crash are equally responsible for the property damages, injuries associated with that crash. All right. The owner is responsible under what's called vicarious liability. And we also, and that is a subset of the dangerous instrumentality doctrine, meaning the powers that be understand that motor vehicles are dangerous,
Right.
and which is they are. Who we kidding? And so therefore, the owner of your car, have the duty to make sure if you let someone drive it or lend your car to someone, that they're responsible. And therefore, if this irresponsible person is in your car and they crash, you're on the hook.
Okay.
So you need to be darn sure who you're lending your car to and who you're letting drive your car, because they crash, you crash with them.
And that's the dangerous instrumentality doctrine.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's vicariously liable. You're basically, even though you weren't the one driving, you're vicariously liable because it's your car. And there are many instances of vicarious liability. Uber and Lyft might be
Okay.
vicariously liable if one of their drivers crashes and things of that nature. The pizza company liable for their pizza, employers for their employees' negligence,
Okay.
things of that nature. All right,
So
so we got
so
that.
it's like it's treating it like it's inherently dangerous 3,000 pound thing, and you should guard it with care, knowing as such,
Sure.
kind of like
Right.
a gun or a knife
You're
or
on the
something.
hook.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. So the caller says,
Gotcha.
well, okay, so we're back to the caller. And I said, well, first it appears that this was, and obviously the thief did not have insurance. Shocker.
Oh,
So I said,
right.
well, this
Yeah.
is obviously a stolen vehicle, right?
Yeah.
But there are exceptions to the stolen vehicle that breaks the chain of causation, proximate call, all of these things that uh, make the owner not responsible.
Okay.
A truly stolen vehicle uh, will absolve the owner or exonerate the owner of
Okay.
liability with exceptions. All
Okay.
right. Talk about some of those exceptions.
All right.
And you see this all the time. Everybody out there in TV land sees this. You pull up to the 7-Eleven, the Circle K, and oftentimes the car's still running with nobody in it. Well, that's a violation of the law, number one. And number two, there's what's called the 316-097, the Florida Unattended Motor Vehicle Statute. It basically says that you get out of your car, you can't leave your key in the ignition. You have
Okay.
to
Yeah.
you have to remove your keys and lock the ignition and take them out of the car.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
they talk about that. The Supreme Court talks about that
Okay.
in a Vining case, and this was in 1978 where this came
Hmm.
up.
Back when they could steal hot wire cars.
Well, this person left the key in the ignition, so we didn't even have
Right,
to get
but you
there.
didn't have to.
You know,
Yeah.
that even wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
And these are called key in the ignition cases.
Okay.
Got to the Supreme Court because the one of the district courts of appeal, like the third district, said, no, stolen car, proximate cause, you're not, the owner's not responsible. Well, the Supreme Court says, no, not so much. They say under the 316097 states, no person driving or in charge of a motor vehicle shall permit it to stand unattended without first stopping the engine, locking the engine, and removing the key.
Okay.
Because
Stopping the
they
engine,
they
locking
said,
it.
well, yes, your car was technically stolen, but you violated this Florida statute. And then they say, so then you ask, it comes to the proximate cause. Think about that as foreseeability. Proximate cause is foreseeability. Well, Jason, is it foreseeable that you leave your keys in an unlocked car in the ignition that it will be stolen?
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, it is.
That's really
Like,
was the
I don't
question.
even need to consult the 8 ball on that one.
Well, yeah, well, I want to give you a chance to blow it.
Yeah, we're
No.
good.
And since reasonable men may differ,
Yeah.
then the ultimate decision is for the jury to decide whether or not you're at fault, as vicariously liable, I should say, for the crash. You with
Okay.
me?
Yeah, I
All
am.
right.
I do have a
So
question, but keep going.
hold on. Yeah,
Yep.
let's save that. All right. So the court found that the motion for summary judgment, the dismissal, was inappropriate because it's foreseeable that this person violated the unattended motor vehicle statute, and therefore you should foresee that your car be stolen, and then it could end up in a crash. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Another case came down short that same year, and it was a different court of appeal that found again for the owner of the car, and the Supreme Court says, well, we had a recent decision. And just let me back up. That
Mm-hmm.
case I decided
Mm-hmm.
was Vining versus Avis Rent-A-Car. Do you know when you pull up, and this was in 78, you pull up and drop your car off at the rental car line,
Right. Okay. Yeah.
you pop the trunk, maybe you turn on the flasher, you leave the key in it, they give you a receipt and you go on your way. And at some point they'll get the car, remove it, clean it, and put it back on the shelf, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this car was stolen out of that Avis parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah, and they found Avis. You could be liable because you left your keys in your car. It was in Miami. It was a high crime rate
Yeah.
area, and so forth and so on. Now,
Okay.
funny enough, if you've rented a car, now they have those spikes that if you
Yeah.
try to go out the wrong way,
Yeah.
boop, tire's gone. And they got the
Mm.
gates and all those. So they've kind of tightened up their system by and large, probably to this case 50, 60 years ago
Yeah.
or 40, whatever. So
Interesting.
anyway, the next one was the person gets out of the car, it's in their driveway, and they put the keys in the glove compartment.
Oh, yeah. That's old school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
above
Yeah. Or
the
above the yeah,
visor.
yeah,
All right.
yeah, yeah.
Well, summary judgment was granted for the car owner. And what do you think the Supreme Court said a couple of months later?
Mm-mm.
In 78, they've had this case. This case came up a few months
Yeah.
after. Now, it's
Yeah, I think that
foreseeable that you
yeah.
leave your keys in the glove compartment, your car
Yes.
unlocked, that somebody may poke through there looking for guns and money and wallets, find your keys and steal it. And so they also sent that case back to the trial court and said, no, this is a jury question. So the
Yeah.
moral of the story is take your keys out of your car,
Yeah.
lock your car, and there's another one where the car was in the garage and the
Oh
keys
boy.
were in. That's
Closed garage or open garage?
open.
Okay.
Do not leave your keys in your
No.
car.
Yeah. Message needs
And
to be gotten here. Yeah.
simple as that. I
Yeah.
mean, I have a gated fence in my yard. I take my keys out of my car in the garage
Mm-hmm.
and I lock it.
Mm.
Seems stupid, but
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
yeah,
wild though. That's
yeah.
interesting. Yeah. So
Um,
I've been saving
all right,
questions when
go
you're
ahead.
ready.
Yeah, because I just
All right.
want to let people beware that just because your car was stolen doesn't mean you're exonerated as the
Yeah.
owner
Yeah.
under the dangerous instrumentality doctrine.
Yeah. So I do have some
Go ahead.
questions, and I think some of these might be rare situations, but that's how my mind works. So I have seen people with the older vehicles who will jimmy rig it where a screwdriver will start it, and they stick their little screwdriver in and carry it in their pocket with them or whatever. How, in the event that one of those crashed into you,
That's a
how would.
stolen vehicle, and the owner would not be vicariously liable.
Okay, that's interesting. All right.
Yeah, they have. I think I don't know which car it is, but I know a year or two ago there was one of the newer cars, the Nissan or something, where I think you could somehow download an app and start the car
Wow.
without the key fob.
Yeah.
And then they had to go back and recomputerize the this, that.
Yeah.
That would be a stolen vehicle.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So there
The
are truly stolen vehicles.
Right. Yeah. And then you said it in one of the things earlier. You said that
Hmm.
something that a reasonable person might find, or that a person might find reasonable. Does
Yeah.
anyone ever try to claim that they are reasonable, but it's not fair to expect them to have been able to foresee this?
Yeah,
'Cause you get a
that's not
lot
how
of.
it works because a
Okay.
lot of people
Yeah.
think they're right. They have a case,
Yep.
and I'm going to get up there and tell the jury all about it,
Yep.
and they're going to buy what I'm selling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not what you or I think as the
Okay.
owner of the car is or is not reasonable. It's what basically in Florida, six people on a jury will feel is
Okay.
reasonable. Look,
Yeah.
you might find somebody that says, I leave my keys in the car all the time.
Yep.
I shouldn't be responsible if
It's
somebody steals it.
right.
It's
It's normal
not
to
that
me.
it's a slam dunk.
Mm-hmm.
It's just these cases were getting dismissed on summary judgment, meaning as a matter of law, the trial court was saying you're not responsible,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
right? And
Yeah.
so you can get a jury trial. The judge basically, that's what a summary judgment is,
Right.
says as a
Yeah.
matter of law, you lose, plaintiff. And the
Gotcha.
Supreme Court said no. Reasonable men may differ as to whether or not if you violate the unintended motor vehicle statute, that that's foreseeable that your car would get stolen and then could be involved in a crash. And so it's a jury question. That's all.
Yeah.
They're not saying you'll win or you'll lose.
Got
They're
you.
just saying you get to have your day in court to try to convince them six people that A, it's foreseeable. If they didn't leave their key in the car
Ah,
unlocked, it wouldn't have been stolen and I wouldn't have been crippled.
right. Okay. Got you.
And
Yeah.
I got news for you. Of course, I'm a plaintiff's lawyer, but yeah, you leave your keys in your car and it's stolen, that you should be responsible because
Oh
there's a
yeah.
statistics out there, and
Yeah.
I looked up back in the day. A very high, very high percentage of all these teenage car thefts occur with the keys left in the car.
That's wild. Yeah.
So, and you
That's
can
wild.
Google it if you want to on TV
Yeah.
Land. If
Yeah.
you just took your stinking key out of the car and locked it, your car wouldn't be stolen.
Yeah.
In
All
all
right.
fairness, how lazy are you? I'm getting on my feet. How lazy are you that you can't take your key, put it in your pocket, your purse, or otherwise, lock the car and go do your business?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty negligent. I gotta admit. I have
Yeah.
one more question though.
Shoot, go ahead.
So, all right. So, in the event there is a situation where you leave your keys in the car when you're
Mhm.
dropping off your car with a valet.
That's different.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Walk
See,
through that a little bit.
you've now you've now basically turned your car over to someone else, valet, and there's also a shopkeeper's privilege. You take your car
Mm,
to the mechanic and you say, "Here's my keys, here's my car, fix it." Well,
mm-hmm.
if the mechanic crashes your car or your
Mm,
car stolen out of the mechanic's shop, you're not vicariously liable. And the
right.
same
Okay.
thing applies to valet. You have basically tendered your vehicle to somebody else, and they're supposed to safeguard your keys and so forth and so on.
Got it.
So those are two in shopkeeper's privilege, and there's a like a valet privilege as well.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, great.
Which,
Thank you
think
for
about
answering
that some of this stuff, believe it or not, makes sense.
this. Yeah,
I'm giving you, mechanic, my keys. I have
yeah,
to for you to fix the car. Well, I shouldn't be responsible if you drive my car and crash it while you're test driving it, or you let it get stolen.
yeah, yeah,
I'm not gonna. If I'm a jury, you wouldn't win. I'll say that's their fault.
yeah.
Same with a valet. I pull up, I give you my keys. You're supposed to park it in a safe area, keep an eye
Hmm.
on it, have cameras, whatever you want to do, and
Right.
you're supposed to not let them steal keys out of your little valet,
Yeah,
box.
yeah,
But all right, so
yeah.
that's the good questions.
Well,
That was
thank you.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
That's it. That's all I got for questions. So
okay,
I just yeah. Oh wait. I have one more. It's on
shoot.
topic, not on topic. So you said you were talking about like it's foreseeable that if you leave your
Mm-hmm.
keys in the car and all that. How is it not foreseeable that coffee's hot? So that if you get coffee spilled on
Well, that's if
you,
you. I can tell you about McDonald's coffee if you want to do that on next show because I got
yeah,
news
let's do
for
that
you.
one.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Every single person, once I tell you this story, will say, "Oh wow, okay,
Mm.
yeah, McDonald's should be liable."
Yeah, let's
So
do
we'll
that on the
put
next
put a
one. Yeah.
teaser out there next
Yeah.
weekend.
All right.
McDonald's coffee and why they lost.
There
And
we
I got
go.
for you. When I'm done telling you the facts of this case, you're going to be like,
It'll
"Oh,
make more
okay,
sense.
there you go."
All right. I look forward to that.
Right?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do that.
And I
Yeah.
believe, honestly, that you don't watch this beforehand, but afterwards, I believe someone did a
Mm,
documentary on the McDonald's coffee case and also explain it. Now, whether you can find it
interesting.
anymore or not, I don't know. I don't have to.
Okay.
I know the case inside and out. I know
Yeah,
exactly what happened.
I'm
You
sure
know,
you do.
I 100% do. I could go into that for 30 minutes right now and tell you, but we'll wait for another show.
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
put that on
sandbag
my
that one.
thing,
Yeah.
McDonald's coffee case. And when you're done, you're going to go, okay, well, I've been an idiot all these years thinking, what a stupid lawsuit and how that plaintiff ever prevailed.
I look forward to that.
All right. So let's do this.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day to all you
Yeah.
fathers out there.
True, true.
Uh, get to church. Thank
Oh
Jesus
yeah.
for all that you have, family, friends, health, everything else. And we will see you next week with
Yeah.
the McDonald's coffee case. And there will be 99.9%. You always have an oddball that are going to say, huh,
Yeah.
okay, now I understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, brother, take us out.
You got it. Here we go.
Reed and Reed, it's like having a lawyer in the family.